something just wasn't right in my life. I didn't like Charlie. I loved him, but I didn't like him. There was just a lot of things I didn't like about our life, my life. There was just a great deal of unhappiness with me. And a friend told me about an Al-Anon meeting. I went to an Al-Anon meeting and felt like that's where I needed to be. From there, my sponsor sent me to the Morton Center.
Well, at the time, I didn't realize the effect it was having on me. Looking back, I can see that I really didn't want to be around my father or my mother or my brother or sister, not necessarily them, but I didn't realize at the time what was happening, but I knew that I was uncomfortable being in a family situation.
The alcoholism in our family affected me personally in a way that disappointments. I would be promised something and it wouldn't happen, or my mother wouldn't let it happen because my father had been drinking.
I think, like Tony said too, the lack of communication, especially, I think all three of us had a really open relationship with our mother, and looking back now, I think it was strained with our father. It was, if we wanted something, we went to Mom first.
When I first decided that this was what I needed to do, the counselors at the Morton Center had sort of headed me in that direction, but I was resisting. It was too scary. That would be the end of my marriage. That would be the end of me.
Prior to approaching the rest of the family with it, with the idea of an intervention, Mom and I had sat down and talked about it, and she was dead set against it initially. At that point, I let it go, and about a year later, I raised the issue back up again. And after we did, we realized that we were going to have to talk to Mark and Julie and pull in as many people as we could to make the intervention a success.
I didn't want to do it. The reason being is I knew at the time that he had a problem, but at the time I drank too. I didn't drink as much as him, but I drank too, and I didn't feel like it was fair for us to put him into go do an intervention on him, put him in a program, if I was still going to do it.
And then also with the Morton Center, they offer concerned persons classes, and once we went through, and they required us to go through those, and I think that was the best education I had for me on learning about our family and how we were, enablers and our places in the family.
When they were describing to me that I no longer needed to be his enabler, then the intervention process seemed to be where I needed to be. I didn't know I would get all the children. I was, I guess, in the back of my mind thinking, well, they won't go along with it, and we can't do it if we all don't do it. So maybe I won't really do it. I still was looking for ways out.
A lot of the feelings that went on were, I was scared. I was somewhat angry that we were having to do this. But I was hopeful too. And I knew if we could pull it off, it'd be one of the single greatest things we ever did.
We didn't do anything about it to stop him because we thought we were powerless to do anything about it. But going through the program, the Concerned Persons program, that we realized that we were the ones that had to do something about it, that he wasn't going to do it for himself.
I was scared of the changes that were going to happen in my life, and I really wasn't looking forward to any of those because I didn't know what his reaction would be.
Morton Center was able to supply us with a lot of support and help knowing what we had gone through.
Many times it takes family to bring the alcoholic and or the drug addict out of their denial. It will also help to bring the family members out of their denial. A family unit or family members so often have been protecting the addict or the alcoholic. And the Morton Center not only helps them to bring that focus off of just that one person, but in an intervention helps the other family members to be aware of their denial and their misperceptions and misconceptions about how to deal with not only this person but with themselves.
Well, the Morton Center will help families to understand the problem. Families are of alcoholism and chemical dependencies. But the broad dimension of this is that families are often paralyzed with concern. If the figure who is affected by chemical dependency is the father, it drains the strength out of the family bond. But I think even more significantly, it begins to have a very negative influence. Children of alcoholics, we know, are gravely harmed by the alcoholism of parents. I think it's one thing that parents find very difficult to understand about themselves, that anything that disrupts the family unity has such an impact on children.
Working in concert with the Morton Center, what we have found is they will help us access this vital area. This is a family disease. Every alcoholic will affect, directly or indirectly, at least 4 to 7 people. Our research is real clear with that.
I was really struggling and had another counselor suggest John Walsh as a possibility for help for me. And when I got there, I discovered that it had been established with a gift from Jane, who had wanted to establish it in honor of her brother, the senator. And it was intended to do what it did for me, and that is help us find a way to help a family, you know. And the theory is that all of it, that alcoholism doesn't exist in a vacuum, and chemical dependency doesn't exist in a vacuum. And the Morton Center's whole approach is to try to help the family system so that when the alcoholic re-enters the world, he re-enters in a healthy as the world can become.
There was a lot of conversations and dialogue between my Aunt Jane Norton and John Walsh. She was very passionate on creating a treatment center, outpatient, for chemically dependent persons, and she wanted to name it for my father, Thurston Morton, who suffered from the disease of alcoholism. I don't think she would have done this had she not run into John Walsh. She was aware of the necessity for excellence in treatment.
I guess I was just in a muddle about the whole thing, and I really wasn't aware of all of the reasons that, of course, that Brenda was going to the Morton Center. I knew she was going. I knew she had some outside meeting activities also, and you know, but I really didn't put a name on it. I didn't really think about it, or I guess at that point, really didn't care about it.
And I thought he either did it or that was the end of our marriage. And I just thought, I guess I thought deep down it was going to be the end regardless, that we were no longer together after that.
I was sitting on my couch on a Saturday morning watching TV, watching the news or something, and all of a sudden all my family walks in, and a good friend of mine from work that was in on the intervention, and then also the counselor that Brenda had been working with at the Morton Center. And
His first reaction was, no, I'm not going. And I thought, well, that's what I expected. This is it. I'm gone. I'm out of here.
I don't really know exactly what went through my mind at that point. I guess it was confusion. You know, I guess I was in a great deal of denial. Felt like that I really wasn't that bad, you know, as far as what was going on in my life.
Drinking to the alcoholic at some point in time does solve a lot of problems. It solves the very fear itself. Then what was the solution to the fear becomes the greatest fear of all, and that is the fear of not being able to quit drinking, or the fear that it will not work, or the actual fact that it quits working.
And then we went through one more round of talking to him, and at that point he said, okay. And he wanted to know what was the process, and we explained it as best we could because it was really emotional. We were all crying or on the verge of tears.
It's like Humpty Dumpty falling off the wall, okay? Humpty Dumpty falls off the wall. The addict falls off the wall. The alcoholic falls off the wall. But actually the whole family is falling off the wall and has been for years. And what's taken years to fall apart is not going to be put back together in 4, 6, or 8 weeks. By coming to the Morton Center and being involved in a program, and going through a process over a period of time, the Morton Center can provide the glue that puts Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Families that come to the Morton Center need to understand that we offer a comprehensive outpatient approach, which allows us to engage many members from the same family in our programs and in our activities here. We have the ability to treat the primary patient, be that an alcoholic or an addict or a family member, in what in our field is called primary treatment, which means that that treatment alone is enough to help them achieve sobriety and start maintaining that sobriety during the early months of their recovery. In addition to the primary care, then we have long-term care here, and we've continued to kind of buck the trend throughout our country that was primarily pushed by insurance companies that want people out of treatment sooner. Our fundamental belief is that people need to get out of treatment whenever they're ready to get out of treatment, and not simply by some preconceived set of criteria. So we're able to take people in and treat them as long as they need to be treated with our programs and our activities.
And I think people are beginning to discover the Morton Center. The miracles are happening and people are finding out about them, and that brings other people in. So the way most recovery programs work, by word of mouth, the Morton Center has grown the same way. People know people who've been helped, and they see the miracles develop in their lives. They see the family come together and begin to flourish and be happy again, and they want part of that.
If this community didn't have the Morton Center, and I remember when it didn't, then I have no reason to believe it'd be different today than it was then. And we were floundering. We had a number of people stepping into the breach who maintained that they could do that, but my experience is they just didn't do what the Morton Center's been able to do. The entire spectrum of dealing with this disease, as I say, from the afflicted to the affected, and including interventions. We've had people in this community who maintained they could do interventions. They did not have the professional flavor of the Morton Center.
I believe for me, I thought it would change overnight. Everything would be different. And it's not necessarily the case. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work from not only the person who went through the treatment process, but also the family members.
It's almost as if we had to relearn our place in the family. Once he became sober, everything changed. With the help of the Morton Center through my mother and the Morton Center itself, we've kind of learned how to cope with things that we didn't know how to cope with.
We owe it to the community to have institutions that can address the problems of individuals precisely because they do impact on society. Think, for example, of the impact of alcoholism in the job market. Think of the impact on families who, in the ordinary run of things, would be contributing to the welfare of society by their just their actions, by their volunteerism and so forth. Now, if one link in that chain goes bad, the whole community is going to suffer as a result. The community needs a Morton Center. It's got to have something like that. Otherwise, we can have a downward spiral of disease, of dependency, of pain, and ultimately of serious harm to the community.
The Morton Center, to me, represents a wonderful mixture of information, of dedication, of spirituality, and of experience. To have that package intact is the most effective weapon in dealing with the fear and the recovery from substance abuse.
When the Morton Center was established, the decision was made to not ever turn anybody away just because they didn't have any money. Because typically, the alcoholic is at the very bottom of his life and has run completely out of resources. And if he doesn't get help at the Morton Center, he may not have any other place to turn. So people pay based on their ability to pay. And lack of money is not going to be a deterrent. So we rely on people in the community who really care about the problem to come forth and make a contribution every year. And fortunately, people really care and have been very generous. But we come back every year saying, we do have a lot of people we need to help, and if you can help us, we'll be very grateful.
There are families that can't afford the type of help that they need. The Morton Center provides that help. It costs them money, so outside investor or outside donations need to be made to help supply the families that can't afford the help. We were one of those families. We were subsidized. My mother's been subsidized before, and it's helped her out. Otherwise, without her going to the Morton Center to get help, we may, my father may be still a practicing alcoholic, but without their help, we couldn't have done it.
The gift to the Morton Center is extremely important from a community as well as a family perspective. Since 1984, since we began, we've subsidized over $3 million worth of care in our respective communities of Louisville and Lexington. Those services that we offer are in the range of $15, $25, $35. So if you divide that into $3 million, it tells you that we're talking about an enormous number of services. To continue to be able to do that, it is necessary that we then continue to procure funds from interested and compassionate donors.
I don't think the Morton Center would even be here, let alone do anything productive in the field without private contributions.
I think your donation can best be measured in terms of what it's going to allow us to do for people that you nor I will ever see, will never know. All we are aware of is the pain that they will be in when they walk in the door and they need us. If you give your dollars for that, I can assure you that if what you want to do is the right thing, then you can lay your head on the pillow every night knowing that you did the right thing, because it's going to help people for a very, very long time.
The number one thing is he is sober.
I like him now. Then I didn't.
Charlie and I have a relationship today that is good. It suits me. He acts like it suits him.
I would say the Morton Center was very instrumental in really, I'll say, giving me back my life. Also, it held our family together. I didn't realize it at the time that that the intervention took place, but I guess our family was in very much danger of just falling completely apart. So that's been the greatest benefit that I can see, is that as a family, we are a family again. We don't always agree on everything, as Brenda said, but we share an awful lot and work together as best we can. And it's the family, saving the family has been the best thing for me.
Thank you.